Welcome to the deep dive.
Hi there.
Today, we're untangling a few threads that I think weave through pretty much all our lives.
Which are?
Love, saying sorry, and those weird moments of chance, coincidences.
Okay. Big topics. We've got a couple of different angles on them today, right?
Exactly. Two very different lenses. First, we've got this practical, kind of everyday scenario.
An English language learning dialogue.
Yeah, built around a small accident, an apology, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And then we'll shift gears quite a bit.
There's something more reflective.
Yeah, an article that really digs into the meaning of love, its different forms, its significance.
Right. So the plan is to see what happens when we put these side by side. What connections pop up?
Let's hope some surprising ones. So, okay, let's jump straight into this dialogue first.
Sounds good.
It paints a pretty vivid picture right away. Someone's on a bike,
Minding their own business.
and then suddenly, bang, tire explodes.
Oh, okay.
Leading to them, well, knocking someone else over.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Not a great start to the day for either of them.
No kidding. But what's interesting is what happens next, the language used.
Apologies.
Yeah, it's like this rapid fire sequence. I'm so sorry, then I feel terrible.
Those feel quite immediate, quite personal.
They do. And then there's, please accept my apologies, which sounds a bit heavier, more formal.
Definitely more formal. And then the direct statements, I didn't mean to knock you over.
Right. Clarifying intent, and it was an accident. Stating the obvious, maybe, but important in that moment.
It makes you think about all the different ways we express regret, doesn't it? It's not just one phrase.
Absolutely. And the dialogue is useful for language learners, too, introducing terms like knockover.
Making something fall down, pretty clear.
And explode, that sudden, bursting outwards.
Right. But then, just as you think it's going to be about swapping insurance details,
Which is mentioned.
it takes this completely different turn.
Yeah, the person who got knocked over says something like, you seem really familiar.
And the cyclist is like, hang on, I think I know you from somewhere too.
That feeling. We've all had that, right? Where you almost know someone.
Definitely. It's a weird mental itch you can't quite scratch. And then, the reveal.
We met at Aaron's place last weekend.
So there was a connection. Okay, let's pause on that word familiar for a second.
Good idea. The dialogue gives examples.
Like Norman Clark, that name sounds familiar. You've heard it, but maybe can't place the face.
Exactly. Or the opposite. Nothing looks familiar, I think we're lost. Total lack of recognition there.
And the one that fitted this scenario best. You look really familiar. Didn't we go to high school together?
Yeah, trying to pinpoint that shared past, it really captures that gap between seeing someone and knowing them.
It really does. And this naturally leads into the next concept.
Yeah.
Coincidence.
Right, which the dialogue just defines as something that happens by chance. Simple, but effective.
And the examples help flesh that out. Meeting someone randomly in a massive city like New York.
Or that slightly silly one everyone in a room called Alex. Highly improbable. Pure chance if it happened.
Or, like in this dialogue, two people who might end up together,
Hint, hint.
literally bumping into each other by chance on their bikes. It stresses the unplanned, accidental nature of it all.
It's funny how quickly things pivot. 1 minute, the cyclist is offering insurance info.
Very practical, dealing with the immediate problem.
But then this spark of recognition happens, this potential personal connection.
And suddenly the priorities seem to shift, don't they?
Massively. The cyclist mentions having a 9 a.m. meeting.
Uh-oh.
But hearing the other person might have a broken ankle, they just say, I'll cancel it. I'll stay.
That's quite a switch. From like a formal obligation, potentially, to a very human, caring response.
Totally. It shows how discovering even a slight personal link can change how we react, how we prioritize.
It moves beyond just the rules of dealing with an accident.
Exactly. And the dialogue itself sort of nudges us towards romance at the end, calls it a happy ending.
And a romantic dialogue, not very subtle.
Not at all. But it leaves you with that feeling, This unfortunate random crash might actually be the start of something really good for them.
Makes you wonder about fate, or just random luck, doesn't it?
Definitely. Which actually leads us quite smoothly into the second source.
The article about love.
Yeah, the one that tries to define it and explore its different sides.
Okay, so how does it start? What's its definition?
Well, it argues love isn't just a feeling, it's more than that. It's presented as an action, a choice, and a commitment.
Action and choice. That's interesting. So less passive, more active?
Exactly. It talks about key aspects like genuinely caring for someone,
Okay, that makes sense.
understanding their joys and their sorrows, accepting them as they are, flaws and all,
Acceptance, right. Crucial.
and a degree of selflessness. putting their needs alongside or sometimes even before your own. What do you think about defining it like that? Focusing on action and choice.
I think it adds a layer of responsibility. It suggests love isn't just something that happens to you. It's something you actively do and maintain.
Yeah.
It requires effort, intention.
Yeah, I agree. It feels more grounded than just being swept off your feet, you know?
Right. And then the article breaks it down further into different types.
It does. It starts with family love.
The first kind we usually experience.
Exactly. Describe as our foundation, teaching us care, safety, that feeling of belonging somewhere, where we learn trust.
That makes sense.
Then what? Then there's friendship love.
The chosen family.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Built on trust, shared experiences, the history you build together and knowing someone's got your back. Mutual support.
Reliable, comfortable, important.
Definitely. And then, of course,
Romantic love.
yep, that deep connection, the passion, the companionship between partners.
Which the article says needs what?
Trust, again, but also mutual respect and, really importantly, communication. Open communication.
So it's not just the spark, it's the ongoing work of understanding each other.
Precisely. It's about building something together. And then, significantly, it talks about self-love.
Right, which feels like it's getting more attention these days, thankfully.
It does. The article stresses valuing yourself, looking after your mental and physical health.
Believing you're actually worthy of love and good things.
Exactly that. It's positioned almost as the bedrock. If you don't have that, building other healthy relationships is much harder.
Yeah, you can't really pour from an empty cup, can you?
That old saying, yeah. And there's one more type mentioned.
Okay.
Love for humanity, kind of a broader concept.
Like compassion, generosity.
Exactly. That desire to help others, make the world a bit better, show kindness even to strangers. It's the root of compassion, the article suggests.
That's a nice spectrum. From the very personal to the very broad.
It is. And looking at the big picture, the article basically calls love the glue in relationships.
The thing that holds it all together.
Yeah, it helps us get through tough times, builds connections, makes us happier overall.
And it teaches us things along the way.
Apparently so. Lessons in patience, which we all need.
Tell me about it.
Forgiveness, which is crucial but hard. And empathy, really understanding and sharing what someone else is feeling.
Powerful stuff. Love providing strength, helping us heal.
Yes, but it's not presented as, like, a magic wand. The article is realistic.
Acknowledges it's not always easy.
Definitely. It talks about arguments, misunderstandings, even pain that can come with love.
Because relationships are complex. People are complex.
Right. But it suggests these challenges aren't necessarily bad things. They can be chances to grow, to learn together.
And sometimes it mentions letting go.
It does, which could mean forgiveness, moving past something. Or sometimes making that really hard call to leave a relationship that's become toxic or unhealthy.
Doing what's ultimately kindest, even if it hurts.
Yeah, with an eye on growth and well-being. And if you're wondering how to show love, it gets practical again.
Okay, like what?
Simple things, really. Actively listening. Like, really listening.
Not just waiting for your turn to speak.
Exactly. Showing kindness in small ways, everyday gestures. Being patient. Offering support when someone's down.
And just saying it.
And just saying, I love you. Those words still matter. It's the consistent small actions that build it up.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not always grand gestures.
Not at all. And interestingly, it also broadens the scope beyond people.
Ah, so?
Suggests we can find and feel love in connecting with nature. Or through art, music, maybe even work we're passionate about.
Expanding the definition even further.
Yeah. And it links this to gratitude. Being grateful can open you up to seeing and feeling more love everywhere.
That's a lovely thought. So, okay, we've got the dialogue with the accident and the coincidence.
And the article with its deep dive into love. How do they connect? Where's the overlap?
Well, straight away, that initial concern in the dialogue, right? The I'm so sorry, I feel terrible.
Yeah.
That seems like a direct example of the caring aspect the article talks about. It's that basic human empathy kicking in. A desire not to cause harm.
Okay, I see that. Like a foundational piece of connection.
Exactly. And then the coincidence itself, meeting at Aaron's place. While it's random,
Dear chance.
it kind of highlights that broader human search for connection that love, in all its forms, is ultimately about. The possibility of finding someone significant, even accidentally.
It sets the stage for potential connection.
Definitely. And you can easily frame that budding romance hinted at in the dialogue
The happy ending.
within the article's description of romantic love. This chance event, the exploding tire, could be the catalyst for something deep and meaningful. It shows how unexpected paths can lead to profound connections.
Life being unpredictable, basically.
Pretty much. And one more thing, the cyclist choosing to cancel their meeting to help.
Putting the injured person first, despite the inconvenience.
That really echoes the article's idea of compassion, maybe even that love for humanity bit, extending care to someone in need, even a stranger you just accidentally knocked over.
It's a selfless act in that moment.
It is. So, pulling it all together as we wrap up.
It feels like we've journeyed from a very specific, almost mundane incident. The bike crash, the apologies.
And seeing how it can spark something unexpected, a real human connection.
And then we zoomed out with the article, exploring love in all its richness. Family, friends, romance, self-love, even compassion for everyone.
Yeah, seeing how fundamental it is to our lives, how it shapes our relationships, helps us navigate challenges.
It really underscores how intertwined these things are. Apologies, chance, connection, care.
Absolutely. So, maybe a final thought for you listening.
Yeah, something to chew on. Think about the coincidences in your own life. Have there been unexpected meetings or events that turned into something significant?
Changed your path, maybe. Led to important relationships.
And also, consider these different forms of love we talked about, from family right through to self-love and broader compassion.
How do they show up for you day to day? How do they shape your understanding of connection?
It's interesting to reflect on how these big ideas play out in the small moments, isn't it?
Definitely. How the accidental bumps and the conscious choices weave together to make up a life.